I'm Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of this newsletter is going to be dating slump. Well, I've got one email that I'm going to go through with you today, and obviously this guy is in a dating slump. But before we get into it, I have a quote that I wrote that I want to share with you. And it says, "We should approach life, what we want, and what we love with the curiosity, fearlessness, and innocent bewilderment of a child. Kids can be our greatest teachers. When we are very young, we usually have not gotten to the place where life has beaten us down to the point that we are too fearful to do what we know we really need to do to create the life that we want. Kids tend to keep trying, questioning, and asking why to everything they don't understand or are curious about, and have a positive outlook and expectation that they will eventually figure out how to do or become what they want. Just like parents never give up on their kids learning to walk so they eventually can, adults should never give up on what they love and are passionate about. Notice what's working and what's not working, and then continue to change and adapt their approach over time to figure out the proper formula to make their visions a reality. If you want to become great at something, study people who are already great at what you want to do, then do what they do, and you'll get the same results." It's called modeling the success of other people. So with that mindset in mind that I shared in the quote, let's go through this guy's email. And I've done, I think it's 2 phone sessions with this guy, and he was basically suffering under a pussy embargo, as I like to call it, for many years. And then he found out about my work, started applying the things I teach, started meeting women left and right, and going out on dates. And the last phone conversation I had with him was literally just days before. He's like, "I got laid." He was so excited and so happy. And I was happy for him because he was happy. And after all, I love making people happy. So he says, "Hey Coach, thanks again for your invaluable service. Your teachings have already changed my life. Firstly, I am ready to invest in network chiropractic care. It's not available where I live as far as I know, but I'm willing to travel to Florida. Can you recommend a good practitioner, name, contact info, rates, etc., and how to get the most out of this service?" Well, I would go to my personal friend and doctor is Dr. Dominic Deanna. He's here in Orlando, Florida, and he is absolutely one of the best network chiropractic doctors in the world. And I've had dozens from every continent work on me before at some of the healing retreats and events, including Dr. Donald Epstein, who was the founder. And I actually found out about network chiropractic because I was at a Tony Robbins event almost 10 years ago on a Platinum Partner trip. And Donnie was there working on Tony in between some of our breaks, and I was watching what he was doing with Tony and his context and things. I was like, wow, that's really incredible. And so after he got done, I was like, what the hell is that? What were you doing to Tony? And so he explained it to me and turned me on to Dominic, and I've been basically seeing him for 8-10 years. And what I personally love about network chiropractic care and why it's very helpful and beneficial for anyone who's seeking to improve the quality of their life, their health, their relationships, is that as we go through life, we have stresses and things that happen to us, whether it's a physical car accident or sports injury or something like that, or we're just dealing with stress from our environment, maybe a stressful family environment growing up, people saying nasty things to you, being verbally abusive, that kind of stuff, or just feeling fearful. What that tends to do is to put our body in a stress state. And since none of us human beings, we don't like to feel icky feelings, we don't like to feel sad, depressed, lonely, angry, or whatever it happens to be, when we feel those feelings, we tend to stuff them down inside and hold them in. Well, what happens is that gets stored as muscle tension in our nervous system. And our spinal column goes down our spine, and all along the spine there are nerve endings that come out around the spine that connect to all of your vital organs and every system in your body, basically. And so if you can imagine, like, what's interesting is that each vertebrae is associated with a different part of your personality. And if, like, the center where the rib cage comes together, that's the emotional center of your body. Now, if you have subluxations there, meaning the vertebrae is twisted because of a stressed response that you had. Somebody said something to you, or you felt ashamed, or you didn't get the hugs and loving that you needed growing up like I didn't get. What happens is that gets stored as muscle tension. You literally get a muscle lump on the back of your spinal cord on the opposite side, and it starts to kind of bend you over and hunch you over, because what's going on is there is an emotional pain that it doesn't feel safe in your body to experience it. So the tension literally builds up, and it's just like if you've ever been washing your car and you had the garden hose laying down your driveway and you stepped on it and it pinched the hose and it made that weird squealing sound that it makes. That's basically what happens to your nerves, is the muscles tense up and they pinch the nerves to the point where your brain literally loses its connection to the vital organs of your body. And so therefore, since it can't talk to those organs, it can't regulate blood flow, it can't adjust muscle groups properly. You'll have whole muscle groups in your legs or your arms or your back or other parts of your body that aren't even functioning because there's so much tension on the nerves that connect to that area. And what's beautiful about network care is instead of cracking your vertebrae, which typical chiropractic or traditional chiropractic does, they use light contacts mostly on your neck and your lower spine to help your brain find the areas where the tension and the muscle tension is in your nervous system, so it can unwind and loosen it. And it's a process, because if you spent multiple decades of your life building this tension up, it's going to take a period of time for that tension to dissolve. And so if you're going to come visit like Dr. Deanna's office, I would suggest that you come for like a week, because if you don't have a good network chiropractic doctor in your area, you want to get as many adjustments in as short a period of time as you can. And so like his offices, he's open Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and Tuesday afternoons. So my suggestion would be to get an entrainment in the morning and then do an SRI session, which is they also call it body connection, which helps facilitate the adjustments that Dominic is actually doing to your body. And do one in the morning, do an entrainment in the morning with Dominic, do a body connection afterwards or before that, and then same thing in the afternoon, do another entrainment with Dominic, and maybe if you can afford it, another body connection. Now typically he charges $45 for each entrainment, and I think his SRI is like $35 for the SRI. Now he has packages where you can come in and basically buy all those together, or buy a block of them, and it'll be a little bit cheaper for you per session. But if you're going to come stay Monday, go in Monday morning, Monday afternoon, Tuesday afternoon, Wednesday morning, Wednesday afternoon, and then Friday morning and Friday afternoon. If you can stay 2 weeks, even better. Because what happens is it takes time for the muscle tension to drop. You get an adjustment, you go to lunch, do some things, play some golf or whatever, come back, get trained again in the afternoon. And so by the time you leave at the end of the week, I mean, you can see the effect that it had just with, I think maybe it was 5 or 6 entrainments I did with the guys that I did a video with called, it's on my website, From Dud to Stud in 4 days. It was like 5-6 years ago we shot that. And what you got to look at your body is like a computer, and you got to think of your belief system as the software on your computer. So if your belief system is fucked, you can imagine your computer is not going to work very well. And what network care really helps to do is to clean up all of the problems and fix all of the problems in your computer so it can run more effective software. I mean, you literally will not feel as fearful as you normally might have felt otherwise if you're under network care. And so his website is besimply.com. That's besimply.com. besimply.com, and you can Google that. I'll also put below the video down here, I'll put his web address as well, and also on my website I'll put the phone number in there also, so you can call. But the best way is to contact him is through the internet and buy a care plan. Like if you're going to come for a week. If you're not going to come and stay for a week, it's not worth your time, because you're not going to get enough adjustments to really make much of a difference. But if you can stay for like 2 weeks, that's even better. The more adjustments that you can get in a shorter period of time, the better off that you're going to be, and that'll really help you. So let's get in the rest of his email. He says, regarding dating, I feel like I've hit a wall since my initial success, and I've been getting lots of numbers from girls who show me some signs like asking my name, what I do, but very low conversion rates to actual dates. I'm getting voicemail, flaking, not remembering me. Those are all signs of women with low attraction. If you're just like shotgun approach, you're approaching every single pretty girl that you like and you see, that's the reality. Most of them are not going to be into you, and that's okay. The idea is to get through the no's in order to get through the yeses. And what's great about network care is that fear that you feel, when your body gets out of that stress state and your muscles relax, you feel peaceful inside. You feel like, you literally sometimes feel like you could walk through a wall. You feel so fucking confident. Because what happens is, if you're like most people, you're stuck in a state of fear right now, whether you realize it or not. Your brain is stuck in fight or flight. Do I need to fight or do I need to run away? And that's basically how you're taking in the world. But what network care does is it puts you in a peaceful, relaxed state. And as I've said many times, when you make decisions when you're in a peaceful, relaxed state, you make much better decisions. But if you're fearful you're going to lose somebody, or you're fearful that the girl's not going to like you, she can sense that. She can look right at you and can pick up on it. You're not exhibiting dominant physiology, dominant alpha behavior. And that's what I love about network care, is it really helps facilitate standing up straight, breathing deeper, talking slower, being calm, not being so fearful, because your body physically gets in a peaceful state where your brain's no longer in fight or flight mode. It's amazing night and day experience, and if you can afford it, definitely fly out to see Dominic and spend a week there. And if you need to get in touch with a doctor, also go to Dominic's website and get in touch with his assistant and tell him where you live and ask them to give you a recommendation of a level 3 certified network chiropractic doctor that's maybe a little closer than he happens to be. So I've been consistently using what you teach in your book, waiting to call, asking out for drinks, even asking for the date the way you recommend, in the words and tonality. What is your approach to voicemail when calling the first time? Should I ask for dates over voicemail, or should I bother calling again after that? I would just call her up and just say, hey, this is Corey. How are you doing? I hope you're doing great. I'd love to chat with you. Give me a call. My number is blah, 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 blah. And that's it. If she likes you and she remembers you, she'll get in touch with you. You don't need to leave your last name and say, we met the other day at blah, blah, blah. What you want is a girl that really likes you. If she really likes you and she's been waiting for you to call, and when she's like, oh, Corey called, oh, God, I'm so excited. Guess what? She's going to call you or text you back. And if she calls you and texts you back, guess what? It means she wants to see you. That's what you want. You want to spend your time with women that really want to see you. Because it's really depressing. And like a guy that's like stuck in a stressed state and is used to his life sucking and not working out, he's going to continue pursuing the girls that are ignoring him because he can't really experience the world in a different way. That's another reason why I love network care, is it really helps you get out of that being stuck on things that aren't working, so you can keep circulating. Because circulation, after all, is the key to life, the key to the universe. Think about it. What would happen if your heart stopped beating? What would happen if your lymphatic system stopped removing the waste from your body? What would happen if the earth stopped rotating around the sun? That'd be a big fucking problem. He says, also the dates that I do get have not been converting into kisses or sex. I've been asking questions, getting them to talk, and when I feel the moment is right, I say, I think you should bring those beautiful lips over here and kiss me. I've gotten responses like, not tonight, wow, you're bold, or you must have had too much to drink. Well, that tells me that the signs really weren't there, that they were ready to be kissed. And like I talk about in my book, is that if you're close to a woman, she's playing with her hair and she's touching your arm and you're not sure if she's ready to be kissed, you look at her lips and then into her eyes and then down at her lips and then back into her eyes, just like that. As you're talking, you're listening to her and she's maybe this close to your face, where she's literally about 12 inches away from you. And if she looks at your lips anytime when you do that, she's ready to be kissed. And then you could say something like that. Then you can go for it. This tells me that you're not really making the move at the appropriate time. You're maybe a little too soon. The rapport's really not there. He says, my confidence is shaking overall, and I feel myself slipping back, failing to go for the kiss, failing to ask for the number, or even make the approach when I had opportunities. See, you're back stuck, your brain's in the fearful fight or flight response, and you're going right back to what you know. This is what you've conditioned your body to do, be, and experience over many decades. It took you a long time to get there. That's why network care is so fucking beneficial. It totally changed my life. Even Tony, same thing. Tony Robbins said the same thing about network care. It was one of the most healing, life-altering, and life-changing modalities he's ever done in his life. He says, what am I missing? Should I set the next date when a girl contacts me after refusing to kiss me on a date? If she contacts you, she obviously wants to see you. Make a date. Hang out, have fun, and hook up. If she's reaching out to you, make another date. Maybe when you go for it then, she'll kiss you. It tells me that you don't know the material in the book very well because you think you're seeing the signs and they're not really there. He says, how can I have more dates that lead to kisses and sex? Well, because you're fearful, now you're acting timid and you're acting unsure of yourself. That's feminine energy. Women want to mate with the most dominant males. And if you're not in a dominant physiology, if you're not in a dominant, you don't have dominant body language, they can see it. They'll know that something's a little off in your personality. And that's why they're going to hold back. That's why you need to go for it. Go for the kiss. It's like if you're hanging out, you're playing pool, or you're throwing darts or something like that, and you're making fun of her. It's like 10% of the time you're treating her like the bratty little sister, and 90% of the time you're charming James Bond. And when every once in a while when you make fun of her, she punches you on the shoulder. You say something like, you're touching me a lot. It's like, it's okay. You can kiss me. I think you just need to get her over with and kiss me right now. If she has a comeback, like, I'm not kissing you, or it's like, oh, well, you know what it is? I think you're just worried. Worried about what? Worried that you're a really lousy kisser. But that's okay if you're a lousy kisser because we can practice as long as it takes for you to get really good at it. And you just sit there with a smile on your face. So why don't you go get over with and kiss me? I'm not ready to yet. Then, turn around, spank her on the butt or something. Say, you'll be ready in a minute. And just keep going and keep playing. Love is playful and fun. It's like, don't be serious. But it's like when you're getting rejected, it's like you don't have any comebacks for that. Because they're testing you because they're sensing weakness because they're not really ready to kiss you. And you're probably just, oh my God. Your confidence goes, it evaporates, and you fold like a house of cards. So it's like you act confident, and then they test you with their response like, wow, you're really bold, and you don't have a good, funny, playful comeback. When she says, wow, you're really bold, it's like, well, I can't help myself. It's like, you're so damn fucking attractive and irresistible. It's like, what's a guy supposed to do? Why don't you bring those beautiful lips over here and kiss me? You look like you need to be kissed, and I'm happy to take care of that because you look amazing tonight. That's how you need to be with the comeback. But when you say that and then she comes back with that and you get like the deer in the headlight look, she realizes, poof, your confidence just completely evaporated. He says, I fear developing a reputation. Oh, let me back up a little bit. He says, finally, I see lots of women in the country clubs that I visit and I want to date and seduce. But I've mostly been holding back. Well, you miss 100% of the pitches that you don't swing at, brother. He says, and I tell myself it's a small community, they sometimes know each other, and I would be seen as trying to be a player. James Bond doesn't affect him. If you like women and you go for it and you communicate your sexuality without any fear, if you see a girl and you like her and you walk up to her and you go, God, you got a fucking unbelievable body. Or, my God, you take my breath away, which are all the types of things that I say to women when I feel that, they'll appreciate that. But if you walked up to a woman and you start going, hey, you have really nice nails. Your hair looks really nice tonight. You're going to sound like a fucking woman. You're not going to sound like a man because you're not saying what's really on your mind. What's really on your mind, what's written all over your face is you're fucking unbelievable. Tell her that. Don't just tell your buddies, hey, look at her fucking ass, dude. Go over there and fucking light her up. I'll guarantee you she's never had a man look her in the eye and just completely be authentic and honest of what he felt towards her. You take my breath away. Wow. You're amazing. What's your name? Denise? Hey, Denise, it's nice to meet you. What's your name? It's nice to meet you too. Oh, my name's Corey. Thanks for asking. Simple as that, dude. He says, I fear developing a reputation as the guy that's trying to hit on everyone and keep striking out. I feel self-conscious when asking for numbers while interacting after a country club event. Are these just limiting beliefs? Yes. Or can I successfully date and seduce and sleep with multiple women in a fairly small community? Absolutely. If women know that you're successful with other women, it makes you more attractive to them. Now the key is you got to make them, if they know you're dating other women, is you got to make them feel more special than all the other girls that you're dating. If she says, well, what about you? You're dating so-and-so. It's like, yeah, she's a really cool chick, but she's not as beautiful and as charming and as sweet and as sexy and as playful as you are. She's like, you're just playing games with me. I was like, baby, it's like, there ain't no games about that. I mean that. It's like, you make me feel that way. I think you're awesome. I think you're amazing. It's like, what's the matter? You don't think you're as good as Stephanie? You don't think you're as hot as charming? Well, of course I am. Are you a better kisser than she is? Well, of course I am. Well, prove it to me then. He says, some of whom know each other and still have a great time together at events. This is exactly what I want to achieve. Any words of wisdom how I can achieve this? Or is my hesitation justified? Hesitating is for fucking pussies. That's for the dorks that sit in the corner of the events with their one hand in a pocket and their beer in front of their chest and they're not talking to anybody. Don't be that guy. Be the life of the party. Be the fucking alpha. If you're at a fucking country club, you're hanging out with other successful people, go up and be the leader. If you don't know somebody, that you see a pretty girl and you don't know her, walk up to her and go, hey, I've never seen you here before. What's your name? Denise? Hey, it's nice to meet you, Denise. What's your name? My name is Bob. Hey, it's nice to meet you, Bob. Great. Simple as that. If she doesn't ask, well, hey, well, it's nice meeting you, Denise. If she just says, well, it's nice to meet you too, and doesn't ask for your name, you say, great. It was nice chatting with you. I'm sure I'll run into you later. And you just move on to the next. Simple as that. You're like the life of the party. If you have total confidence to go up to everybody, you're going to be perceived as the alpha. You stopped doing what made you successful. That's why you got laid, is because you completely bought into what I taught you to do and you went out and did it. And you had a couple things, you got attached to some results that didn't pan out the way you expected, and now you're holding back. Women don't want you to fucking hold back. They need you to show up as a fucking man. You need to show up and say, I am fucking here. And you take my breath away, honey. What is your name? You need to walk right up to a woman, look her in the eye, and say that. Whatever it is that you feel, and be fucking authentic. And if she doesn't like you, so what? You gave her the gift of acknowledging what you thought was amazing about her. Who cares if she appreciates that or not? You're not doing it for her, you're doing it for you. Because that's who you are. You're at least showing up as a man. And you need to at least do that. Because if you don't show up, you're definitely going to strike out. Like I said earlier, you miss 100% of the pitches that you don't swing at. So if you'd like to get my help personally, the quickest way is to book a paid phone session. You can do that by going to my website, click the products tab at the top of your screen, and follow the instructions for booking a paid phone session with yours truly. And I will talk to you soon.